Hello and welcome to Real Talkin' Fiction, the podcast where storytelling meets raw, unfiltered conversations. I'm Eddie Bowers, or Edward Bowers, as some of you guys might know me from my books. I'm here to explore the stories we tell, both real and imagined. From deep dives into some of life's tougher questions to thrilling fiction that I write. So hopefully that's going to keep you guys on edge. We're going to try and cover it all here. So sit back, hit that follow button, and let's dive in. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast Real Talkin' Fiction. I'm your host, Edward Bowers, and today we're going to dive into a question I get a lot of the time. That question is, how do you become an author? This typically comes up when I talk about my books and things like that. So, whether you're dreaming of writing your first book or, you're just kind of curious, about the process, or maybe you have a lot of people that are telling you, oh my gosh, you should write a book about your life. I'm all about that. But I kind of want to break it down, no fluff, no nonsense, try to actually answer some of those questions that I get, just like be real. So, let's go ahead and jump into this. So my, I guess, first thought on this is, if you're interested, just start writing. Okay. So here's the thing. There's no secret words or society, no secret handshake to becoming an author. It's a lot of work, but it's really not that complicated. You don't need permission from some magical literary council. The only requirement? Write. Just write. If you're wanting to, kind of sit around and wait for the perfect idea or, say, inspiration to strike like lightning, here's a spoiler alert. It won't. Writing is going to be work, and you get better by doing it. So sit down, grab a notebook, or it is 2025, grab your laptop and start putting words on that page, So another question I get asked, what if I don't know what to write about? Well, that could be a problem if you have no idea what to write about. But, if you've got something and you've got an idea, jot it down somewhere, an idea book, a journal, something like that. Finding some inspiration on this. I find a lot of mine in music, the people I'm around, just, whether it's writing prompts, personal experiences, or just anything, I find that music, I don't know, but just life feeds me my stories, my emotions, past experiences, situations. Use those things to inspire you, whatever pops in your head, jot it down in a journal, go back to it and see if you, again, if you're wanting to write, if you want to become an author, use that, write something based off of those things. Now, finishing the first draft, even when it's awful, and trust me, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I personally think every first draft is horrible. Every writer hits a wall at some point. Writer's block, things like that, the little voice in your head, it's going to tell you that your story sucks. Your characters are flat, and you should probably just go binge watch Netflix instead. Maybe doom scroll on social media. Do yourself a favor, though. If this is something you want to do, ignore that voice. The first draft is supposed to be messy. Just get it to the end, You can't edit a blank page, but you can always fix a bad one, or two, or 500. So now that's happened to me a lot. Another question I get, how long does it take to write a book? I'm going to be honest, that varies so much. For me personally, I have taken, I would say anywhere as little as 30 days to write my first horrible tornado, tsunami cluster of a first draft. And then I've taken all the way on up to 10 plus years to write a book. My book, FML, that particular book, that took me 10 years just to get a first draft. Not to mention the time I spent adding other things to it, later on down the road. I released it and then went through life and added that stuff into that book. So that one was a long, long journey. But I have a book called Would You Marry You? And that particular book, my first draft was done in about 30 days. So don't put a time limit on you. I mean, obviously set a goal. I want to have X done by this time, X done by that time. But just because you might take 15 years, 20 years to write a book, it's fine. Just keep writing. Kind of on to step, 3, I think it is now, editing. AKA where the real writing happens. Say that in a magical voice in your head, I guess. So, here's the ugly truth, y'all. The first draft, that is not a book. It's a pile of words that desperately needs shaping, smoothing out the rough edges, connecting things. Editing is where you cut the fluff, you tighten the story, and make it actually readable. Whether you do it yourself or you drop plenty of coin on an editor, hire somebody. This step, honestly, it's a step you can't skip going up these stairs. It's not optional if you want to publish something worth reading. And with that, another question I get, can I just use Grammarly or AI to edit my book? I got to be honest, yes, you can use tools such as AI to assist in all of that. And, use the tools that are out there to help. But I do believe that, creating a group of people like beta readers that you can get to read the book and give you that true human feedback. And it kind of, that's why human beings are so crucial to this mix. They're going to see things that AI is going to miss. They're going to see things that you're going to miss. So having a team, whether it's friends, whatever, have people to go to give that human input. AI is not going to tell you that they love the way you described the eyes of somebody. AI is not going to tell you that the sadness made them sad, or the love made them believe in love again. That's where the human aspect of all of this comes in. Having a human editor and a group of beta readers is going to help you out tremendously on this journey. Now, personally, I self-publish, and kind of getting into the publishing step, I'd say that's probably like the 4th step, so I'm covering it next. This is where I think a lot of people get stuck. Do you go with traditional publishing? Do you go with self-publishing? Traditional publishing means you kind of want to start with finding an agent, you've got to get your pitch ready, because you're going to constantly be pitching this book like an elevator pitch. This is sales mode. Basically, you're selling the story. All right. And going with traditional publishing, it's a waiting game. It really is very time consuming. Now, self-publishing, you're in control. You know, you grab those reins again, you take control of the whole project. But it also means it's another job. You're handling everything: editing, cover design, marketing. You know, so really both paths, they've got their pros and cons. You just got to figure out which is best for you and the time you have and your energy. So, you know, always take breaks. You know, give yourself grace there. Personally, again, I chose self-publishing because I do like keeping control over my work. You know, if I like the way it's going, if I like the colors on the cover art, you know, I'm in control of it. I do use beta readers, and they do give me feedback. You know, that I've got some people that help me with editing, so I do use them. I use tools like Google for research, Grammarly for my punctuation. You know, so I do use some computer generated things to help me through this process. But I like to be, I'm not a control freak. I just like to have the final say in my product. And with that, you know, when I talk to people about that, they ask me, is self-publishing legit? And there's a lot of, I guess, misconceptions, so many, I'm not going to cover them here, but it is. You know, there's a lot of traditional publishers, you know, publishing houses and whatnot out there. They want you paying so much money up front, and then they're coming back to you and making you change your entire world building, characters, character arcs. You know, so I'm not going to front all that money to be told, redo it. It's just, again, that's why I went with self-publishing. I let my fans, my friends, my family, my followers, you know, my ARC team, my beta readers, I get their feedback, and I use that to motivate me in my changes. So, but that's just me. You know, obviously, if writing it and becoming an author is something that you want to do, you do it your way. I'm just trying to maybe give some little insights on things within this industry. So, now marketing, selling the book, because you want to write and you want to publish it, whether it's self-publishing, traditional, it doesn't matter. You want the book to sell. Okay. Writing the book is really half, I would say, maximum, half the battle. Selling it, that's the real challenge. You know, if you think you can just upload it to, say, Amazon and poof, magically get sales, I've got bad news. Marketing is definitely part of the job here. You know, whether it's social media, setting up an email list, or just telling friends and family and pretty much everybody you meet about your book. I do that a lot. So, you know, on TikTok, I'm constantly posting about, you know, book content, what I'm writing, what I've written, what's coming up, you know, for sales soon. I run specials, things like that, you know. But if you don't want to market, you don't want to sell books. I had that conversation with me a while ago. I was like, I don't want to do all this marketing, doing all this stuff. It's so taxing. What was me? But then I realized I was squashing the sale of my books. My first book I published, for a while, I was on TikTok of all places. I was doing lives and selling the books, and I was making some okay money off of it. But when I got tired and questioning myself on marketing, did I really want to market this thing? Sales, they went flat. I went months without selling a book. You know, so you've really got to be willing to market that book or your books to get those sales, to get it out there. Now, kind of my final thoughts on this, you know, a lot of, I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, but, a question I asked myself, do I have what it takes to really do this? I had long conversations with myself in the shower, in my bed, in the car, all by myself. So look, being an author isn't just about writing. It's about persistence. You're going to face rejection after rejection after rejection. You're going to start feeling like that sad girl on prom night all by yourself. And honestly, probably my biggest thing for me personally was that temptation to quit. You never write a book, never mention the book, just let them sit there and ride. Sail here, okay. Somebody buy an ebook, read a page or two, okay. But that was a far cry from the almost livable wage, and upgraded my life all the way down to 5 cents, 2 cents a month, 0 pages read, 0 book sales. That was horrible. But trust me, even when I'm writing some of what I feel are my best stories, sometimes that voice, that urge to quit comes back up. So don't let that take over. If you love telling stories, if you're willing to put this work in, guess what? You're already an author. Now go write that book. I get asked sometimes, like on my lives, a lot of people will send me private messages. So if you have more questions and you follow me on other social media, feel free to do that. I will do my best to answer as quickly as possible and honestly as possible. So one question I get a lot, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had told you before you even started writing or became an author? And it's what I've just listed. What I've just talked about. Maybe some little pointers that they could have given me directly. But the one thing is it is work. You've got to be willing to put in the work. Because it's not all fun. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. You're in the middle of a story and boom, you forget. Writer's block. It's horrible. But yeah, the one piece of advice would definitely be what I've just said, and in whole. I went over specific little things there, but that's it. I hope that makes sense. So that's it for today's episode, y'all. I hope you found it helpful. Maybe gave you a little insight into me as an author. Like I said, go ahead. If you follow me on other platforms, that's great. If you don't, feel free, look me up. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper. I'm kind of everywhere. So, but that's what you got to do when you're marketing your book. You got to put it out on as many platforms as possible, I think. Unless, of course, you're already like a multimillionaire and you got money to burn. Go ahead, do the ads, pay per click, things like that. That's another option on the marketing, spectrum or scale. But like I said, if you guys found this entertaining or helpful, insightful, you just you enjoy hearing what I have to say, like I said, subscribe, follow, find me on other platforms. Heck, share this video, or this might most likely is going to end up on my YouTube, but share this podcast episode. If you've got somebody in your circle that's thinking about writing a book and they don't know where to start, send it to them. And if you have any other author related questions, drop them in the comments, or like I said earlier, send me a message. So I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So I'm no Anne Rice or James Patterson or Stephen King or Frank Miller, but I'm doing this. And every day I learn something new. I gain new experiences, and I love to share with people who are interested and want to know, want to learn. So, like I said, hit me up. But until next time, guys, if becoming an author or writing a book is something you're wanting to do, just keep writing, okay? Keep creating. If writing isn't your thing and you decided to listen to this whole episode, thank you. I appreciate it. But if you've got a hobby and you're wanting to turn it into like a side hustle, keep doing it. Keep building your craft. That kind of wraps up this episode of Real Talk and Fiction. If you enjoyed today's discussion, make sure to follow the podcast, please, so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, share it. Share it with a friend. It helps me more than you guys know. If you'd like to support the show and my writing, you can always join me on Patreon. For honest, I'm thinking, I believe as little as $1 a month. Your support's going to help me keep creating, and in return, you guys are going to receive exclusive updates, behind the scenes content, as well as early access to some new projects. So, check it out. Just head on over to Patreon, search Edward. Search Bowers Inc. B as in boy, Owers Ink. And you should be able to find me there. Also, I think somewhere on this podcast, possibly on the YouTube channel, I've got the links shared there. And if you love a good thriller, don't forget to check out my books. They're available on Amazon. All right, just search Edward Bowers in the search bar, and it should pull up everything I've written and published. You can also find all the details at my website, which is edwardbowersofficial.com. It's kind of a basic website, but I'm working on it. Okay, bear with me. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. Just stay real. Keep turning the pages of your own story. And I'll see you guys next time, alright?